She sat beside me without asking. A beautiful woman, composed, almost radiant in the low bar light, yet carrying a grief that didn't belong to her face. I didn't look at her at first. I only felt the shift in the air, a presence, a decision settling beside me. Then her voice, soft, unshaken, cut through the noise around us. "Your wife is cheating with my husband." No warning, no hesitation, just the truth, placed gently in my lap like a knife wrapped in silk. My fingers froze around my glass. I didn't breathe, not out of shock, but because some small part of me recognized those words long before they were spoken. She leaned closer. I felt her perfume, something cool, intentional, expensive. "Forget her," she whispered. Then she smirked, slow, deliberate. "Go out with me tonight." I should have asked questions. I should have demanded proof. I should have laughed or denied or said she was mistaken. But instead, yes, one word, immediate, clean. The kind of agreement that doesn't come from curiosity, it comes from exhaustion. And as she smiled, victorious, almost cruel, I felt something shift inside me. A weight tilting, a door opening in a place I'd kept locked for too long. I didn't know it then, but that yes was not acceptance. It was the beginning of an autopsy, of my marriage, my trust, and the version of myself I had pretended to be. She told me everything during that first hour. Names, dates, hotels, lies repeated so casually they almost sounded rehearsed. I listened, silent, still. Every detail was a small crack, and every crack let in a little more truth. My wife had been drifting for months, late nights disguised as projects, sudden laughter at her phone, the peculiar softness in her voice when she lied. I noticed it all. I just chose not to assemble it. Denial is a quiet architect. It builds illusions with precision. But hearing it from someone with nothing to gain, it dismantled the whole thing in seconds. The woman, Elena, spoke like someone reading a list she had already memorized. No tremor, no doubt. And I watched her, not the story, her. Why was she so composed? Why tell me? Why now? There was an intent behind her calmness, a calculation I recognized because I lived with a similar quiet hunger. The betrayal wasn't what stunned me, it was how unsurprising it felt, as if I had been waiting, patiently, for someone to grant me permission to look directly at what I had been circling for months. Elena finished her drink, set the empty glass between us like a final piece of evidence. "I'm sorry," she said, though she didn't sound it. I nodded, not out of acceptance, but strategy. Suspicion had already taken root. Now it needed water, proof, a trail, a plan. And in that moment, I didn't feel heartbreak. I felt clarity, cold, clean clarity. I didn't confront my wife. I didn't change my tone or habits. I didn't let a single ripple appear on the surface. Instead, I began collecting truth, quietly, systematically. Her phone habits shifted first. Screen turned down, brightness low, notifications silenced. I mirrored none of it. I simply memorized patterns. I checked our cell bill, call durations, location pings, late-night messages disguised as work emergencies, each one a breadcrumb. When she slept, I watched her breathe and wondered how many versions of herself she had offered to other people, to him. DNA tests weren't needed. There were no children involved. But I gathered everything else: receipts, ride logs, hotel records buried beneath networking dinners. All of it lined up too neatly, too consistently. The architecture of betrayal is always symmetrical. My composure became my weapon. She never suspected. She never even looked up from her screen long enough to wonder why I suddenly seemed calmer, quieter. Inside, something rewired itself. Stability replaced by strategy, affection replaced by observation. Every discovery was a slow tightening of a knot, not around my throat, around hers. I waited, measured, prepared. Justice, real justice, isn't loud, it's patient. The final piece arrived in an envelope. Printouts, timestamps, photographs, messages, a full confession in data form. I didn't react, not externally. Inside, something settled, a storm finding its center. That evening, I handed her the envelope with no ceremony, no anger, no raised voice. "What's this?" she asked. My answer was a single sentence. "Open it." She did, slowly, page by page. Her face shifted from confusion to realization to panic. I watched every second. She tried to deny it first, then justify it, then cry. None of it touched me. I had stepped too far outside the emotional radius to feel her anymore. When she whispered, "Who told you?" I only said, "You did," and it was true. Every lie she thought she concealed had been a confession waiting to be assembled. I didn't yell, I didn't demand explanations. I simply handed her the divorce papers I had prepared a week earlier, before I even had full proof. She looked at them like they were a death sentence. "You planned this," she whispered. "Yes." Her tears intensified. Her breathing broke. She reached for me, as if touch could rewrite reality. I stepped back. That single step crushed her more than any argument could. "You don't love me anymore?" she asked. I met her eyes, steady, unwavering. "I stopped loving the version of you that you replaced." She collapsed into the chair, small, exposed. Elena's revelation hadn't broken my marriage. My wife's lies had done that long before. I left quietly that night. No slamming doors, no goodbye. I walked out as if leaving a hotel room. Nothing personal, nothing worth carrying. Elena and I never became anything. We didn't need to. Her role wasn't to save me, it was to wake me. In the weeks that followed, people asked why I seemed calmer, lighter. I never explained. Some truths aren't meant to be shared. They're meant to be survived. And as I signed the final document, handing the pen back without hesitation, a single thought passed through me. Clean, sharp, liberating. I didn't lose her. She lost access to me.